Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher along with BNEWS reporters Robert Paris, Chris Flaherty, Alita Charbonneau, Nikki Cadillac, Juliana McGrain, Gretchen Carey with the community calendar, and Peter Brown with the weather. Thank you for joining us. The Burlington town election is just a few weeks away. Last week, BCAT hosted a candidate debate in the race for the 2 open seats on Burlington School Committee. Chris Flaherty has the highlights.
While there are contested races in multiple town meeting precincts this year, the race for school committee is the only town-wide race contested on the ballot, and it's the largest Burlington seen since 2020 with 4 candidates running. Their incumbents Catherine Bonnell and Jeremy Brooks, with newcomers Hillary Kleck and Aaron Reeves. We hosted the candidates here in the BCAT studio for a debate moderated by Alan Folds with questions from myself and Nikki Cadillac of Burlington Buzz. Each of the candidates spoke on their experience in and out of the district and how that made them a strong voice for Burlington families.
I have 2 daughters in the system right now. My accountability is when I go home to the dinner table every day. Every decision I make, every curriculum I review, every policy we talk about in the committee is something that affects my family directly. So using that along with the constituent voice and those that reach out to me are all the things that I'll use to formulate my opinions on how I vote for the school committee.
I've served on the school committee for almost 6 years, and I always like to say I'm crisis tested. I survived COVID my first year. I have a daughter who has gone through all levels of school, elementary, the middle school, the high school. My daughter went through a renovation, so I've been through a renovation project when she was in school. So I do have a perspective as far as that's concerned. I also have been able to, chair and vice chair many committees, so that's a different, unique experience that I have over some of the other candidates. My son is here in the Burlington schools and at Fox Hill Elementary. I have a 21-year-old daughter who attends Perkins School for the Blind. I can relate, I think, with a lot of families who may be in special education or on a 504 plan. I've been in the IEP meetings. I know what it's like to not have the communication that you need. I'm in both places, with special education and in the public school classrooms. Pretty much my entire adult life volunteering in a nonprofit organization full-time developing young people. It has been the greatest kind of pursuit of what I've done as an adult, and when that part of my life and career changed, we became a little bit more focused here in Burlington and have been able to engage more with the town. And as my family and I started to look at ways to get involved, the opportunity presented itself to run for school committee and bring real change to some, a few areas of interest and issues that we've heard parents bring up across town. And I thought, man, I care about this. I care about the next generation. I want to jump in and see if I can bring a positive change.
Other topics included the ongoing improvement to the district's curriculum, communication between the public and the school committee and how that can be improved, and the future of Burlington High School. After voters rejected the proposed renovation in last November's special election, I asked the candidates what they thought the next steps were for the building committee.
I think getting back to the absolute basics of what we need to pull this project forward is essential, in re-examining what can actually be affordable or incremental renovations or rehab in the high school, and really, again, listening to this vote that our town brought to the table, asking that this is scrutinized a little bit greater. There has to be a way to bring everyone together, be collaborative, bring in some priorities. We need to be maybe a little more creative, resourceful in our plans. And again, I will come back to long-term planning. We can't make these decisions individually. We have to look at it as a whole plan. So I think even in making the BHS plan, let's go ahead and look at what else we need in the other school buildings.
I was hoping that we would get an outcome different than what we did. But as we all know, debt exclusions are very hard to get passed in a town. And so right now what we have to do is regroup. And the regrouping is we're trying to do the SOI and possibly form a subcommittee of the subcommittee to look at other phased options that the town can look at and hopefully support.
I said this right after the vote, as we need to step back, take 6 to 8 months, develop 2 to 3 clear courses of action, and an addition renovation option, a phased approach, and potentially a smaller footprint to the new build. Give voters a decision tree, not just a take it or leave it option. We also have to be honest that this is fundamentally a fiscal trust issue.
You can find the full debate as well as candidate profiles, letters to the editor, and other updates in our Election Center on our website. Don't forget, Election Day is Saturday, April 11th at Burlington High School, with polls open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Until next time, this is Chris Flaherty with your BNEWS election update.
From hearing directly from the candidates to understanding why these races matter, Nikki Cadillac of the Burlington Buzz takes a closer look at why running for local office and voting in town elections is so important and why many residents choose not to take part in this month's Burlington 101.
Burlington votes on April 11th, and if you're like a lot of residents, you might not know exactly what that means or what's on the ballot. So let's break it down. Burlington holds a town election every spring. This is separate from state and federal elections. It's just Burlington voting on the people who will make decisions about our schools, roads, finances, and our community. Anyone who is a registered Burlington voter can run for local office. The process involves pulling nomination papers from the town clerk's office, collecting signatures from registered Burlington voters, and returning them by the deadline. This year's deadline has passed, but if you're thinking about 2027, now is a great time to start paying attention. This year, Burlington voters will choose who will represent them in townwide offices such as town clerk, select board, library trustees, and many more. While each open townwide seat has enough candidates to fill it this year, the school committee race is contested, with 4 candidates running for only 2 seats. You can vote on Election Day, April 11th, at the BHS Gymnasium. Polls are open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Or you can vote early. Early in-person voting runs March 30th through April 8th at Town Hall during regular business hours. You can also request a mail-in ballot before April 6th. Check the town's Elections and Votings webpage for details. The average voter turnout in Burlington from 2020 to 2023 was about 16%. In 2024, it rose to 22%, and in 25 it was 19%. That means only 1 in 5 Burlington residents is involved in deciding our town's direction. Local elections have the most direct impact on your daily life, your kids' schools, your tax bill, your town's future. And turnout is not high enough. Your vote matters more here than almost anywhere else. For everything you need to know about Burlington's April election, visit Burlington Buzz, BCAT, or the Town of Burlington website.
State Representative Ken Gordon has been named Legislator of the Year by the Mass Association of School Committees. The recognition highlights his work on education issues at the state level, and he was honored at a recent school committee meeting.
Worked with Chair Gordon for around 13 years and has always been a strong supporter of public education, which is really why I think MASC wanted to recognize his effort. I think placing Chair Gordon on the Education Committee, leading the Education Committee, not only benefits Burlington, but benefits students across the entire Commonwealth. So I think we're very fortunate that he's in that role.
I'm really happy to have been placed here. It's really an honor, and I'm delighted that the Speaker had confidence in me to do it. And it certainly makes me proud each time we have meetings with advocates saying, yeah, no, I know Burlington is all set. Burlington does this and recognizes this. This district is my home. We all live somewhere. We all have a house and a bed somewhere. But for 13 years, this district, which includes Burlington, has been my home.
You've been an incredible supporter, and again, I think that really appreciate your support and your advocacy on behalf of Burlington and on behalf of all the children across the Commonwealth.
Burlington's new electronic sign on the town common is now up and running, but the policies for how it will be used are still being finalized. At a recent meeting, the Select Board discussed the process, including how requests should be submitted, how long notices should stay posted, how many messages can rotate, and which messages should take priority. The policy was reviewed last spring and updated over several meetings, but was never formally approved. Town administration will now revise the draft based on the board's feedback with the goal of finalizing the policy. The Select Board also approved 2 promotions within the Burlington Fire Department. Firefighter Dave Rosenberger was promoted to lieutenant, and Lieutenant Craig Callahan was promoted to captain. Fire Chief James Brown said the promotions came following the retirement of Chief Connerty. Rosenberger was hired in 2008 and most recently served as an acting lieutenant, gaining supervisory experience. He is also a certified paramedic and holds multiple fire service certifications. Callahan was hired in 2009 and was promoted to lieutenant in 2020. He has a background in business and fire science and came from a family with a history in the fire service. Both men were congratulated by the board and those who were in attendance. For the past 7 years, Burlington resident Joanna Schlansky has been collecting dresses for the Belle of the Ball fundraiser. BNEWS volunteer reporter Alita Charbonneau takes a closer look at the program, now celebrating 20 years of helping young women attend their school's prom in style.
I'm Alita Charbonneau, BCAT volunteer, here at Anton's Cleaners, celebrating 20 years of dress collections for Belle of the Ball that will be happening April 11th. Let's go inside and see what's going on. The dresses were collected to be cleaned at Anton's Cleaners to be sent on their way to the Belle of the Ball event.
Well, the whole process starts with when they get to the door, somebody meets them and greets them, asks them about their prom, what they're looking for, and then their personal shopper. And they get to go through and finally pick a dress after trying on several dresses and find the right one. Once they do that, then they go for the shoes and for the pocketbook and the jewelry, so they get the whole look going.
It's just amazing that everybody is willing to give back to these underprivileged young women who can attend their prom.
20 years, we've sort of come a long way. We had 100 girls, I think, the first year, and now we have 1,800 girls that are being invited.
So I first started volunteering many, many years ago at the Belle of the Ball, and it made a huge, lasting impact on me. So I decided to give my time and start the dress donation in Burlington and the support of the Burlington community. Shout out to Burlington. Every year I get at least 100 dresses.
And we have such a great time, and they get cheered on, and they get pictures taken of them, and it's an exciting day for these young ladies.
It was great talking with Mr. Anton and to see Joanna Schlansky bring in over 100 dresses, as she has for several years. Thank you to those that have donated for the past 20 years for this event. And for BNews Weekly, I'm Alita Charbonneau.
Student artwork at Burlington High School is on full display for the school's annual art show. Among the artists is a BHS alumni returning to showcase her work at the Cambridge Street Art Gallery. BNews' Juliana McGrain was there.
Hello, Burlington. Welcome to BHS's annual art night. Let's go right into it. Hello, I am here with the wonderful
George Rakovich.
Now, Mr. Rakovich, what's up with this event? What's going on here?
It's a school-wide exhibition. Every student who's taken an art class has work in the show. It's a great way to profile the work we're doing in all our art classes.
In addition to all of the students' artwork being on display, an alumni was also invited back to be a part of the show.
I am here with BHS alum Kayla Joliet, who is here to showcase her art. What made you want to come back and showcase your art at BHS?
Miss Chang had reached out to me. She follows me on Instagram, and she saw me posting like a bunch of my new drawings. I have the work. I feel like it looks really good together, and why not show it to other people?
How do you feel about having an alumni have a gallery at BHS?
We love it. It's just a really exciting time to see her, what she's doing, to just chat a little bit and catch up, but also just I love her work.
What brought you to wanting to make a career out of being an artist?
It was like really the only thing I ever loved to do, and the only thing that ever really held my interest. So coming here, I had Mr. Rakovich. He definitely got me into art, got more into the idea of like, if this is what I want to do, then I'm going to just try to make it happen.
What do you hope people will take away from this event?
To understand how wide and diverse an array of different types of art there are, digital photography, painting, drawing, and to actually also think about what high school students are capable of. I often hear when people are coming through, some adults are coming through, wow, they can do really cool stuff. There's a lot of talented people here. You know, and the way you get to that is you practice. You do it over and over and over again, even the things you don't like to do, and you get better at things, and you challenge yourself.
Well, what a wonderful array here tonight. I have been Juliana McGrain for BNews. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me, and I will see you next time.
In our latest producer spotlight, we turn the focus to Carter Ames and Mike Espeo, the team behind BCAT's newest podcast, The Sporting Zone.
From vision to reality, we highlight the people behind the stories shared on BCAT in the producer spotlight.
All right, so we are back
For Carter Ames and Mike Espeo, they can't go a day without talking sports. So when they teamed up, they created their podcast, The Sporting Zone.
Number 5 is probably the 2002 Fiesta Bowl, where Ohio State won my alma mater, Ohio State. You can hear a lot of that. They won the national championship in double overtime over Miami.
And that's only number 5?
And that's number 5.
They're no strangers to BCAT, as Mike previously hosted his own podcast, The Pod Where It Happens. And Carter is a student volunteer, as well as a member of the Video Voyager program.
So I was doing The Pod Where It Happens, and I didn't really do it that often. And I liked podcasting, but I found it was better with a partner, because you can bounce things off each other, you get a little break, you can think about things. It's very tough to sit and do a period of time by yourself. Carmen came on a couple times, and we had a good rapport, and we had fun. We figured, let's just try and do that, narrow the focus, and just commit to doing it once a month. I told him, because I wasn't really doing the other one religiously, and I think for a podcast to work, you got to do it religiously. And so, we'll try it out, and we'll see how it's going. It's going good so far.
With 3 episodes under their belt and a 4th in pre-production, the duo has built a workflow for each show, with Carter taking the lead on planning the topics.
I do a lot more of the creative stuff, which has been cool, just to learn about the process, number 1, and then number 2, actually putting it together, selecting music, creating outlines, what it is. I think doing a podcast at BCAT is great teamwork.
It's also collaborative, that after he comes up with the draft for the outline, he'll run it by me, and usually looks great, so we just usually run with it, maybe add a thing or two, drop a thing or two. It's been pretty seamless.
Man behind the magic.
Yeah, definitely.
They say the best part is getting behind the mic and bringing their conversation to life.
It's got to be recording. Because that's where the magic happens. And to sit down, talk about sports, it's really fun. So definitely recording.
The other stuff is just so you can record, but recording is usually the fun part, and what you look forward to, and pretty much the easy part. You have the outline done, it's all go, and you just talk about sports.
Mike and Carter say BCAT has been a great outlet for creativity and a valuable resource for the community.
And this podcast, I think it's a very good use for the public, of people who, might not necessarily want to host something, find something they're passionate about. Staff is very supportive of it.
BCAT's been amazing for the town and all the things BCAT does, and to have a place like this to come to spin some creative juices is awesome. And I've done that with my old podcast, with our show, and now this podcast, and just to see what works best, and it's fun.
As always, I'm Carter Ames, along with
Mike Espeo.
And we will see you next time on The Sporting Zone.
From the BCAT studio, this is the Producer Spotlight.
I don't want to make it too specific.
Will we finally see a warm-up? We'll check in with Peter Brown for the forecast, coming up right after the community calendar with Gretchen Carey.
Hey everyone, I'm Gretchen Carey, and this is your community calendar. On April 2nd at 5:30 sharp, the Burlington Parks and Recreation Department will be having an Easter egg hunt at Simons Park. Pre-registration is required, and the event is for Burlington residents only. For more information and to register, go to the Recreation website. Also on April 2nd at 6:30 p.m., the Burlington Historical Society will be having a presentation with author Martin Gitlin about the Ultimate Boston Red Sox Time Machine book. Everyone is welcome, and the event is free. On April 10th from 5:30 to 9 p.m., the Burlington Public Library will be having a teen after-hours lock-in. Pre-registration is required. For more information and to register, go to their website. For more community calendar events, go to bcattv.org, burlingtonpubliclibrary.org, and burlingtonrecreation.org. I'm Gretchen Carey, and that was your community calendar.
Well, hello everyone, and this is Peter Brown with a look at your weather for the next 7 days. I know it's hard to believe that, yes, we are at the end of March, heading in towards April. We are done just about with the first month of meteorological spring. Now, spring has been a very loose term around here in the Burlington area over the past few weeks. It has been anything but spring-like. In fact, winter is really trying to hold on here, and looks like it's starting to abate a little bit, especially as we go into this forecast period. Now, starting our period on Friday, we should be seeing temperatures at this time of the year in the low 50s. That's about where we're going to be. Now, bear in mind, this high of 50 on Friday is probably going to be happening in the morning, as we're going to see a pretty strong cold front moving through the Burlington area on Friday. Yes, I know, another cold front coming through, bringing in very cold air for this time of the year. So when you are heading out of work later in the afternoon, you're probably going to be noticing a definite chill to the air as temperatures are going to be falling down into the 30s again, unfortunately. Now, as we round out our period getting in towards next Thursday, getting in towards the first few days of April, our high temperatures at this time of the year should be in the mid-50s, and that's about where we're going to end out. So it doesn't look like we're going to have any real intense cold except for maybe one day this weekend, but unfortunately no real runaway warmth like most of the country has been seeing. The only thing that really reminds us that yes, we are actually in spring is our sunsets are now happening after 7 o'clock at night. So that is the one good bit of news in this otherwise very chilly forecast and period we've been having. So as we go, let's take a look at the Climate Prediction Center's calling for us in terms of our precipitation chances over the next 7 to 10 days. And this is a good bit of news, especially if we're going to be getting that cooler weather this weekend. They are expecting us to have near normal precipitation, maybe even chances of a little bit below. Now, unfortunately, we do still need to add to those rain tallies out there, anywhere really from the tip of Maine to the tip of southern Florida. The entire East Coast is pretty much in a very considerable drought right now for this time of the year. And just remember, we are going to be heading into the warmer months, so we do want to keep an eye on that and make sure we do get some rain coming out there before anybody starts to go out and start watering their lawns in the next month or so. So as we go, let's take a look at what our temperature map is looking at. And yes, again, no surprise, temperatures below normal, and really that is only happening right here in New England and in eastern New York State. The rest of the country is experiencing some unprecedented warmth, so if you're looking for that really warm weather, all you have to do is travel out to the Ohio Valley, and if you're heading out west in the next couple of weeks, oh wow, is it going to be warm out there? And unfortunately, none of that summer warmth looks like it's heading our way here in the Burlington area. So as we go ahead, let's take a look at those 7 days of weather coming up. And again, not as bad as we've seen. We've left out any snowflakes in here, so this has been, I think, one of the first times we haven't had a chance of snow in the forecast for quite a while. And starting out our period on Friday, we are going to see some spotty rain showers coming through as that strong cold front approaches us from the west. Temperatures in the morning starting out around 50, then cooling off considerably down into the low 20s overnight into Saturday. Now Saturday, if you're going to be out and about in the Burlington area, you are going to have to bundle up. It is the end of March, and we're going to be seeing temperatures only in the mid to upper 30s and a little bit breezy out there, so it is going to be a chilly feel. Now as we get in towards Sunday, temperatures start to rebound a little bit, getting up into the mid to maybe upper 40s. And then as you head back to work on Monday, going right through the end of the period, especially Monday afternoon, we could see some heavier showers moving into the Burlington area. Could be a little bit cool out there at the onset of that. We don't think there'll be any snowflakes mixed in with those raindrops, at least right now, so that is some good news. Temperatures sticking right around 50, but thereafter then warm front's going to slowly move north of us, and that's going to help to get our temperatures up into the mid-50s. Unfortunately, that is going to come with quite a bit of cloud cover, so we're not going to be really boosting up into those 60s and 70s like we saw a couple of days a few weeks ago. So just bear that in mind. We still have a little bit of cooler weather to go, but things are starting to look up. So everyone, get out there, enjoy the weather, and have a great week.
After 10 seasons leading Burlington boys basketball, head coach Phil Connors is stepping down, closing out a run that helped shape the program and leave a lasting impact on the Red Devils. Robert Paris sat down with Coach Connors to reflect on his time leading the team.
After 10 seasons leading Burlington High School boys basketball, head coach Phil Connors is stepping down from the program.
You know, it's been a decade, 10 years, amazing memories.
the most is the players, the relationships with the players, who, you know, still keep in touch with many of them from the first year on, guys who became part of our staff, eventually to the point it was all kids who played for me after about 7-8 years. If I started rattling off names, I wouldn't want to leave anyone out, but it's just been a special run of dependable, hardworking, good players who bought into everything that we tried to instill in them.
Before arriving in Burlington, Connors coached at Tewksbury, where he also led a Division II program.
And I'll be honest, it was a leap of faith when I came here, as far as, you know, I'd heard good things, that there was, you know, it had the bones to be a good program, which it did, even though it had been on some hard times. And I felt like we kind of built from scratch, and it turned out to be even better than my wildest dreams, really. It went better than I expected.
During his time with the Red Devils, the team built a strong run of success, putting together winning seasons year after year.
That's a culmination of all the kids' work and, you know, the hours, the unseen hours that aren't the games, what the kids put into in the summers, driving to this league, driving to that league, the open gyms, goes into becoming a winner, and we became a consistent winner year after year.
This past winter also carried extra meaning, as he knew it would be his final season and wanted to treasure every moment with this group of student athletes.
Special group of kids who, as good as they were this year, and I knew they would be good this year, last year was what made me more proud of that group. Because, you know, if anyone would have asked, you know, once Cedric left and that whole group left, it was, we're going to be down, it's going to be the time to get Burlington, and those kids just wouldn't accept it. So as good as this year was, which is unbelievable, you know, record wins, a third league title, that junior year with them was one of the most special. But I treasured every minute with that group because they were a special group. Great group to go out.
One of the memories that stand out most to Connors is Burlington's run to the Final Four 4 years ago.
That run in here, probably the first round game, we got as bad a break as you could get, having to play Charlestown. We had gotten that good seed, 3 seed, and then Charlestown had forfeited some games in this early season, so they were as good a team as anybody in that bracket, and we end up drawing them in the first round. And they were loaded, size, speed, everything is far more talented than us. But that group's character, instead of putting their heads down about that draw, put their head down. We played one of the best games you could possibly play, and Cedric's buzzer beater here.
7 seconds. Mahoney inside. Rodriguez rejected. That should be a goaltend.
That one has to stand out as probably the number one moment, and then that run after that. All the home games here in the playoffs have just been, we have never lost here, and we're just a different animal in the playoffs here, all of them. This run here, we played 2 amazing games, and it's just been the playoff games here, we've been unbelievable.
Now that his journey has come to an end, he says there will be a real void.
Being in this gym every day is a special thing to get to know you're coming down here. All the amazing kids we've had, it's going to be sad, but you know, it's a choice I had to make.
The decision to step down comes as Connor shifts his focus to family, with his own children now beginning their basketball journey.
My daughter's going to be playing in high school next year. I'll be following that. My 6-year-old asked me, do I like why don't I ever go to his games? Because I was missing his games. He looked up and he says, do you like Burlington players more than me? And that one kind of hit me. Said, you know what? You kids are only young once. I love coaching I coached their basketball, and my life was just getting kind of crazy.
As he closes this chapter, he leaves with high praise for Burlington High School's athletic program and says the next person to take over the position will be lucky to be a part of it.
It's a great place to be a high school basketball coach. Amazing kids, amazing town. Yeah, no, I will 100% be following and rooting from afar, and I'm sure I'll catch a game or 2 here or there.
Congratulations, Coach Phil Connors, on a memorable 10-year run. His presence will be missed not only by the program, but by the entire Burlington community. I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Sports.
Sophomore Cameron Bonnell put together a strong season for Burlington Wrestling, earning a state tournament title along with Middlesex League All-Stars and all-conference honors.
Sophomore Cameron Bonnell had a great season on the Red Devil wrestling mat. He finished with 44 wins and competed as the 3rd seed at 165 pounds in the All-State Wrestling Tournament. He also competed at the Division II State Championship, where he secured his first high school tournament title of his career. And he was also recognized as a Middlesex League All-Conference selection, as well as an All-Star.
I knew that I put a lot of work in before the season, or the season before too, so I was hoping to do good, but wasn't really expecting 44.
While Bonnell shifts to lacrosse in the spring, he continues to train in the off-season, staying committed to improving on the mat.
I'm going to be mixing it with my spring sport for sure, so I'll be going to practices when I can and making sure that I stay sharp for next year.
Head coach Paul Schwartzman has also brought him to compete in events across the state, helping him continue to develop his skills.
We do push him. We take him out to New York. We take him to other places to really get him some good competition, and hopefully they kind of take a step up and really start pushing at that level as well.
Congratulations, Cam, on a great season. We're looking forward to seeing what's next. This is the Red Devil Shoutout.
This week's photo of the week comes from John Sotheby, who captured a colorful moment as sunlight filled his kitchen. He says spring is in the air and so is the light. Each day the early afternoon sunlight enters a window in the kitchen. When hitting this doorknob, the sun casts its prism reflections throughout the room. Great photo, John. Thank you. We'd like to see your photos. The photos could be of something you see around town, on vacation, or even photos of your family members, friends, and pets. Whatever you think is interesting and would like to share with us in the community. Send them to bcat@bcattv.org with the subject line Photo of the Week. That's all for this week's edition of BNews Weekly. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again next time.